Hey everybody, Ben here from DMC Films and Cineblog Studios, and today I thought it'd be fun to just kind of do a vlog because I'm working on this painting and I'm having these thoughts about this painting and my process with it. And it's not a painting process video, but I do want to talk about it a lot. So stick around. So you have to forgive me, I'm not going to stare at the camera the whole time. But I also am fighting a weird throat thing right now, so if I cough or clear my throat, just bear with me. But I'm working on this painting. It's a night piece. I haven't done a night piece in a very, very long time. I think it's progressing fairly well. But I'm doing something with this piece that I haven't done in a very, very long time, which is painting without so much of a plan. Now I do have a sketch for it, which I did probably like a month ago. 2 months ago, I think, now. And it's one of those things where it's like I really wanted to get to this painting, so I decided to just completely skip my regular process of getting a Photoshop concept done. But it's also putting me into this mood of doing more loose brush work, really kind of holding back real far on my brush and need more paint. And subsequently actually wasting a lot more paint because of it. So my next art store trip is probably going to be like the very beginning of January, considering how much paint I'm using both on this painting is probably what I will be using on a lot of upcoming ones as well. But it's really forcing me to think a little bit differently and do things that I wouldn't have normally done in a more refined painting. I'm working a lot looser. And I think in doing so, I'm sort of relearning a lot of techniques and a lot of different things that I can do that I sort of forgot that I could do with paint, and really kind of working some things into other things. And at the beginning of this piece, I really wanted to do a painting process video. But I'm like, no, I just want to sit and focus on this piece. I've done a lot of live painting this year, and I think pushing towards 2017, I want to ease back off of that a lot because I've kind of forgotten, at least to some degree, how nice it is to just sit and work in the studio, doing so much sort of work paintings and not remembering to step back and enjoy it once in a while. I think it's kind of what's put me in a little bit of a slump. Overall, I think this piece is only going to be maybe half successful because it is so unplanned. I mean, there's a lot of issues I'm having with this, things that could have been nailed down in the planning phase, had I done a planning phase. But at the same time, there is a uniqueness to this piece that I think is really going to stand out. I'm also doing sort of these black bar strips. I've done them in a couple of paintings recently. One, because I want to fit my aspect ratio of the painting I want into a canvas that's perhaps a little bit taller than I would have wanted originally. It's like I think this is a 16 by 20, but I took maybe like 2 inches on either side and gave myself some strips to make it, one, feel like almost like a widescreen movie, and it really kind of focuses your eye in. And at the same time, you're getting just really a piece that feels as part of a series that I'm doing, not necessarily on purpose, but just that's how it kind of ended up working out. So this piece, I've got a lot more. There's a lot more movement. There's a lot more, again, like I said, loose brush work. And I think it's kind of really important to a piece that you don't lose that. And I've lost that a little bit in a lot of my work. I've lost a lot of general visual movement. I've lost. There's this thing with painting that you want to overmix your colors. Just at least I do a lot of times. I want to take a color and mix them together and get solid color, solid color, solid color. But in something like just kind of grabbing some of this color and some of that color and some of this one, and maybe not mixing them and leaving your brush really jumbled, really dirty. I think there's something really valuable in that that a lot of people tend to overlook. And for someone like me, you get yourself in a habit of painting a certain way, and so you kind of have to think back a little bit and say, what do I really want to do with this piece, with my work in general? And it kind of forces you to think backwards, but in a really unique way. And I think that's just sort of my little bit of tips for this week, is that maybe if you're stuck in a rut a little bit creatively, that you want to take a few steps back and remember to enjoy your process. Do a piece that you don't have to think about. Do something that maybe is a little messier. Don't be afraid to make a mess, especially with acrylic paint. With watercolor, things can kind of get brown and muddy, but with anything that is even more permanent, I would say, than like a watercolor or a gouache, like any thin wet water media, even inks are don't really fall into this, but something like a real paint, like an oil or acrylic. I've been wanting to try encaustic for a long time too. You could probably do this with pastel, oil or chalk pastel, but just to really make something that is, in the grand scheme of things, a mess. But then once you kind of lay down all your color and everything, that you can come back into that and detail it and refine it and turn it into an interesting piece. And that's kind of where I'm sitting with this piece right now, is that I'm laying down a lot of loose brush strokes, a lot of wide areas that hopefully maybe in a couple of days I can come back and really just sit maybe with my liner brush and really kind of sit even with my canvas angled a little, and just kind of come in and basically draw with the paint and just really make the painting a meditation on technique and a meditation on process. So I've been trying to do these little vlog updates from time to time. I know it's not a tutorial, but I think they're important to do, just to show more of the process than just the physical process, but the mental process as well. And that's really something that I think is important for an artist at any level to learn alongside a lot of the basic things, but to learn to really both enjoy the process and find your own and find what works for you, and know that in doing an artistic process, whether your process looks like mine or looks very different, make sure you have something that understand that you're going to have struggles. You're not, every piece is not going to be perfect. Actually, in fact, probably very few pieces in your own mind as the artist that creates them are going to be perfect. I would say maybe 1% of anything I do, what I say, is in my head perfect, but it's something that you really need to consider when working. And so if you like this kind of video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up for me. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below, because I'm really I've done some vlogs in the past, but this one I feel is a really sort of a personal look into my thought process, and because I'm really kind of focused on this right now, and also not feeling 100% healthy, so forgive me if I'm a little less energetic. But yeah, let me know what you think about this. Get subscribed if you're not already. And this has been from DMC Films and Cindervlog Studios. See you guys next time.